Alright, I want to go over a trip, or maybe later this week, perhaps Thursday, to go from Mossy Grove Road Pier through these marshes out to Bull's Island, which is an island about the size of the Isle of Palms. It's about 6 or 7 miles long, with assorted wildlife. It's undeveloped, but I think there are some roads and a lighthouse and so forth, and some places to run. And what I want to show is sort of the general plan here. So what I want to do is go with the tide. So if you look at this tide chart, if we take a day like Thursday, for example, December 22, the tide will be going out from dawn to about 12:30 p.m. So it's about 5 hours, 7:20 to 12:30 of the tide going outward, and then coming back in from 12:30 till sunset, which is around 7:20. This is just a standard sort of a tide chart. Thursday's good, Friday's not too bad, Wednesday's not too bad. So looking at the weather, it looks like, nominally speaking, the best weather is Thursday. So that sort of fits the tides and everything. And what I have for planning the trip is some Garmin software which works with my GPS. And here I have the water route. What you can do in here is draw a track. You can just come in here and select new track. And what that'll do, I don't want to draw a new one right now because it ends up getting added to my GPS, which I can delete, but I just don't want to bother with that. And what this will do is shows this track that I drew, just like you would draw in a drawing program or something, and it shows how you would go, and it measures the distance that you would go. So it's 4.5 miles. But remember, I'm going to go I have 5 hours of outgoing tide, so you have all this water in this region pushing out to the Atlantic Ocean while the tide is going out, and so that should mostly help on the trip. Certainly the tide will be pushing all this water in this region will be pushing out here, so when you're going along this part for the first couple of miles, it'll be pushing pretty good. The only couple places where the tide might push against you is from here to here. That's about from 1.6 miles over to about 2.2 or so. Say like it's a half a mile or so, 0.6, 0.4, just depending on how this water flowing here might want to flow from here out to here. It may be pushing against you for 0.5 or 0.6 miles, but eventually it's going to start coming back and going down this track, and you'll be going with the tide, and then maybe you'll be going against the tide for the last from say 0.23 miles to the end at 4.5 miles. So overall you might have to go against the tide for about 0.75 miles, and this track will be recorded on my GPS, so I'd be able to follow and know exactly the distance. And then once I get to the island, I intend to try to go running. So there's some Bull Island runs I could look at. For example, I drew a track here to run around this loop. I don't know if you can go on these roads. That's what you don't know. You don't really know what these roads look like or anything. But that would be a 7.6 mile run. So it would take a little over an hour, maybe 75 minutes or something, to run around this loop. And that might be a good loop. If you wanted to do something more ambitious, you could try a longer route here. And you have to zoom out a little bit to see that. Not that much. Okay, and maybe you see all these crazy elevation changes they show, but they're all between 2 feet and 7 feet. And just run all the way out here and run back, and that would be a 13.6 mile run. Would that be the entire island? That'd be like running the half marathon at Isle of Palms or something. Again, you don't know whether you can run on the beach here or run on the roads or what kind of running you could do. But you have that 5 hours of tide going out and then 5 hours of tide returning, and you can go with the tide in both directions, remember, and that'll give you a pretty good trip for Thursday. At least it's 4.5 miles, but maybe you'll get, let's say, a 2 mile reduction in distance just because you'll be going mostly with the tide. So it really might be a doable trip, but you'll never know until you give it a try. Anyway, so I was proposing to do that on Thursday.